So whatever you affirm with consistency, okay? Now, how do you affirm? Now, most people think affirmations are what? What are affirmations? They're words, right? And so in order to affirm something, you got to say something over and over again, and hopefully it becomes true. Isn't that true? That's basically what we've taught. Okay, but guys, affirmations are not just words. Most people think you got to say something over and over again, and then maybe it'll turn out because you're saying this. But the real deal is, affirmations are what you do within you. You know, most people will say, well, like the Bible understanding, God created the world with His Word, and with His Word He created everything. Of course, they use this word logos, which basically means creative force. Now, I want to help you understand something. It wasn't the words that created it, but it was the energy before the words ever occurred. It's what you do within you. For example, if you're sitting here and then you decide you want to say something, it's not the words that you said that make it true or not true, but it was what you generated before the words ever came into your thoughts. It's the pictures in your mind. So if inside your mind you look at yourself and you say, man, you're just so fat and ugly. But inside your mind you have this picture, and every time you see this picture and you feel these emotions, that's an affirmation. Because what are you doing? You're affirming over and over again with a picture in your mind. Or you're affirming over and over again with an emotion. That's an affirmation too. Does that make sense? So whatever you affirm inside you, it doesn't have to be a word. It could be a thought. It could be a certain sound that you say to yourself. It could be a certain emotion in your body. If throughout your day, every time you drive to work and while you're driving to work and you're feeling inside you the dread of going to work, you are affirming what? You're practicing what? That dread. And guess what you get more of when you practice it? Dread. So inside you, you imagine, you create, and you manifest and produce what you do inside your mind. It's the pictures. It's the feelings. And yes, of course, words do follow after what you think. Because you can say the words over and over again, but if you just say empty words, just saying the words over and over again doesn't necessarily make it true unless before the words you create feelings. You create the pictures. You create the sensations. That's what truly an affirmation is. And so, guys, you've got to be consciously aware of what you produce within you. If you don't like what you currently feel and produce, change it by creating something new. And of course, one of the things is, just like I mentioned over here, release and affirm. You've got to release the negative, change it towards positive, and practice within you. So another thing that we want to put in your happy journal, the first part is definitely positive emotional states. And by the way, guys, if you keep practicing those positive emotional states on a daily basis, guess what you're doing? Not only creating those positive emotional states, but you're affirming something about yourself. Aren't you? If every day you practice feeling happy, guess what happens in your life? It's easier to feel happy. Because why? You're practicing, you're affirming it, and you're creating it. Make sense? That's why it's so important. Now, guys, if you're feeling depressed and you're feeling down and you keep practicing going back to that depression, guess what it's easy for you to do? Create depression. Because it's something you're practicing and affirming and creating. So watch your affirmations. Watch what you think. And if you're thinking something negative, tap that sucker out. Tap it, change it in your mind to where it has a good picture and a good feeling with it. Make sense? So the second part in your book, we want affirmations. Now what's really good about affirmations, and I want to show you how to make affirmations really, really work. Because at one time, affirmations, they said, this one guy said, well, affirmations don't work. I said, well, apparently that one's working for you. Because he was feeling strongly that affirmations don't work. He's putting all the emotions in it, and what he's saying is affirming exactly what he feels. And the more he says it, the more he feels it, guess what? The more it occurs. Make sense? One of the things that I use to help us heal our bodies is, how many of you realize that since I've been talking, since the beginning of the seminar, the premise is your mind affects your body. And the whole seminar is based on this. Your mind affects your body, and your body is an autobiography of what you think. Make sense? Okay? So what we want to do now, how I use Louise Hay's book, is say, for example, you have indigestion problems, or if you have heart problems, or if you have a pain in your left side, or you have a headache. What I do is I use Louise Hay's book, and I suggest getting a Louise Hay's book. And what we want to do is say, for example, if you have, well, I'll just use overweight here. It just popped right in. Overweight. And so what it says here about overweight, she has the negative part, which the emotional driver, and then she has an affirmation. And so what we would do in your spiral notebook, or I have heart right here. Here, heart's a real good one. All right, so for example, someone have heart problems. Now, of course, if you have heart problems like Sue LaRue, she came to the seminar. She's maxed out on 3 major heart pressure medicines. And so basically what heart represents, it says C, blood, heart, and also says the emotional driver behind the heart. So the heart represents the center of love and security. So what we do is we look at this, okay, center of love and security, and you may ask yourself in your spiral notebook, the peace journal, is you say, okay, what in my life do I do not feel love at? Where in my life do I feel no security? And then what you do is you look for those, and after you find those, you tap them out. That means you release the emotional charge in it. All right? And then also it says heart attack, squeezing out all joy of the heart in favor of money or position. So then you look in your mind and you say, okay, where am I lacking my joy in my life? Do I have money issues? I need position in my life. I need someone to accept me, or whatever it is about your life. And then you find whatever you can emotionally associate to. Then you tap out the emotions, the emotional charge to it. And then each one, like says heart, see blood, then you go check out blood, and you figure out the emotional charge and you tap it out. Each one, tap it out. And then after you get all of it tapped out, we write in the affirmation in your happy journal. So in your happy journal, you write heart, and then you'd tap in something like this. You'd say, pardon me. It says heart, my heart beats to the rhythm of love. Now that's a great affirmation. My heart beats to the rhythm of love. And then it also says, see, heart attack, I bring back joy to the center of my heart. I express love to all. Now that's a great affirmation to put in your affirmation journal. And so how do you do affirmations? One, you find this affirmation, and I highly recommend tapping out the negative. If you can find it, try to create it, trying to find an emotional association, tap it out. As you tap it out, your body and your mind is releasing that energy. And then we tap in the positive. Does that make sense? All right. Now, here's something is what I want to do, and I'm going to demonstrate exactly how we do this. First of all, you find, like in this book here, say heart problems, and it says the feeling of not being loved. Okay? And so then you think about, okay, do I have an emotional reference that I don't feel loved? Or you may just say, nobody loves me. And then you see if there's an emotional charge to it, and then you tap it out. Then you pull the emotional strength completely out of it, and then you say, nobody loves me, or the emotional reference to it, and you tap it to where it has 0 emotional power. Then what you do is you tap in the positive. And first you figure out the resistance, tap it out, and then you say the positive. You say, I totally love and accept myself. And then when you say that, you listen to your body. And notice we're always going back where? To the body. Is there any resistance saying, I totally love and accept myself? If there is, you tap it out. I totally love and accept myself. Is there any resistance? Do I feel at peace with it? If it's a yes, then you tap it in. And basically 2 ways to tap it in. You can say, I totally love and accept myself. I totally love and accept myself. I totally love and accept myself. Totally and completely. That's just how I am. That's how I am. I love and accept myself. Totally and completely. That's how I am. And then in your mind, imagine something that would represent loving yourself. Feel it, be it, become the it. Make it real. Does that make sense? So what we're doing is, first of all, you have an affirmation, like a physical affirmation. You find resistance to it. We tap out the resistance till there is no resistance. Then we say the affirmation. See if there's a resistance to the positive affirmation. If there is, you tap it out. Then you tap it in. I totally love and accept myself. I totally and completely love and accept myself. I love and accept myself. That's how I am. That's how I am. That's how I am. That's how I am. Naturally and easily. Peace. create in your mind the image, feel as if you love and accept yourself, totally and completely. Make sense? All right. Now, what we're doing is, first of all, eliminating the resistance. We're finding anything that will prevent it from being true, and then we tap it in as if it was already true, and we feel it to be true. Make sense? Now, of course, I got this model basically from a great teacher, and the disciples said, hey, Jesus, teach us how to pray. And he said, pray and believe in your heart you already have it, give thanks.